One of the things that I find odd about this society that we live in is how willing and aggressively people will ridicule those of us who do not place our faith in these so-called professionals and these space agencies, NASA in particular. The way I see it, we're the ones who are just perceptive enough to look around, understand where we are, and most importantly of all, understand when we're being trolled with complete nonsense. Let me show you this article. NASA shares image of the sun resembling a jack-o'-lantern. This is an article from Fox News. Okay, and here's video already played. All right. NASA on Sunday got into the Halloween spirit and posted an image of the sun that resembled a flaming jack-o'-lantern. NASA chief says Pluto should be a planet. This is actually a separate article. But speaking of Pluto and NASA, along the lines of also being trolled, you remember this one? Where they actually had a picture of Pluto and then outline of Pluto, the dog from Disney, in the same shape. Yeah, okay. That type of stuff happens with NASA often. Anyway, let's move on here. The space agency said the photo was taken October 8th, 2014 by its Solar Dynamics Observatory satellite. The flares that are visible are ultraviolet light from its active regions. Here's the image. See the whole jack-o'-lantern thing in here. All right, and let's take note of this. NASA took a photo in of the sun in 2014. Okay, they're not saying that's an image; they're saying it's a photo. But here, let's continue reading back here. Come back to that in a little bit. The active regions in this image appear brighter because those are the areas that emit more light and energy, the statement said. They are markers of an intense and complex set of magnetic fields hovering in the sun's atmosphere, the corona. This image blends together two sets of extreme ultraviolet wavelengths, typically colorized in gold and yellow, to create a particularly Halloween-like appearance. And NASA's really good at covering their tracks as far as explaining away why their BS appears to be BS. And you notice how they called it image over here, but right under the image, they say NASA took a photo. And this is what we're supposed to believe is an actual photo of the sun. Here. Now, if you go into Google and you actually type in sun through a solar filter, these are the images that you're going to get. Nothing too exciting here, but that's what NASA does. They're just kind of extra with this stuff. It's like I said, we're the ones that can pick up on the fact that NASA's trolling. Also, there's video. One of these is a video of a guy actually looking through his telescope. Yeah, here it is right here. Through a telescope with a solar filter on YouTube. And it's a short video. It's about 46 seconds along those lines. But yeah, it's just a guy zoomed in with a solar filter with his telescope. And actually, the image that he has is a lot bigger than NASA's because, I mean, they want you to believe that the sun is 93 million miles away, which it's not. But this guy with his telescope was able to zoom in closer than NASA. Think about that for a little bit. But like I said, we're the ones that know that we're being trolled. Another good opportunity to pick up on how we're being trolled is a couple of these throwback stories. Like this one, for instance, is from Metro Co UK. That is, NASA wants to probe deep into Uranus in search of smelly gas. Yeah, this is a real story. So let's look into this a little bit. Scientists stunned the world this year with the revelation that Uranus actually does smell like farts, and NASA probe could soon actually breathe in the fumes. Yeah, yeah, they went there. Amy Simon of NASA's Ice Giants decadal study group told the Gravity Assist podcast the next mission to Uranus should use an atmospheric probe. Yeah, this is them trolling you again. So anyway, I mean we could look at this like first thing right off, NASA wants to probe deep into Uranus in search of smelly gas. You wonder if Beavis and Butthead's in charge of the NASA marketing department when they're coming up with this stuff, or somebody along that same line of maturity. But no, this is a real article. Now, people with common sense would look at this and say, obviously, they're being trolled. But no, NASA took it a step further, and there's a follow up article on this one. This is from the Science News Reporter. And they're explaining this. Now let's look at this one. Uranus opens and closes every day to let out hot wind, according to scientists. And according to scientists, it was determined that people will believe what's said as long as you say according to scientists. Yeah. So this is the image that we have here. These two little blue balls and then the smoke coming out of the, yeah, they actually did that. Uranus is all over the place. It spins weirdly, its magnetic fields is off center, and now we've just found out it may open and shut its magnetosphere every day too. The research at Zen Cow and Carol Patey from the Georgia Institute of Technology was published in the Journal of Geophysical Research, Space Physics. Got to throw that in. You know, stuff that everybody doesn't understand. There's only a specialized group of people who understand the concept of space physics. Modeling the system around Uranus, they found that its magnetosphere occasionally opens up to allow solar wind through. This seems to happen almost every day, about every 17 Earth hours. Okay, now, let's say we actually do believe this. Let's read back over this. Modeling the system around Uranus, they found that its magnetosphere occasionally opens up to allow solar wind through. Now, um, real quick, let's get on a freestyle here. Distance of Uranus. We're just gonna go into Google. Distance of Uranus. Distance at its closest distance, the distance of Uranus from the star, I'm guessing they mean the sun, is 1.7 billion miles away. At its furthest, it's 1.89 billion miles away. On average, the planet travels between 19 times as far as the sun as the Earth does. Okay, so it's determined that in the solar system, Uranus is much further away from the sun than the Earth. Okay, obviously, because the sun's 93 million miles away from Earth, and it's 1.7 billion miles away from the sun. Okay, Uranus is, that is. So, with that in mind, and the Uranus, the magnetosphere occasionally opening to allow solar winds through, um, why don't we deal with solar winds on Earth? I mean, since we're so much closer. I mean, is that something that only happens to these other planets? I mean, is that something that we have to deal with here on Earth as far as solar winds? It's just something to think about because if we're so much closer to the sun than Uranus is, and Uranus has to open its magnetosphere once a day to release solar winds, Earth is a lot closer to the sun than Uranus is, apparently, according to the globe model. But we never hear about the Earth's magnetosphere having to open up to release these solar winds. Just a little something I was thinking about a second ago. But anyway, that's just how NASA trolls us with these things. But yeah, this is what we got. Basically, we get a good daily dose of indoctrination from these folks in order to continue this globe propaganda, this whole space fallacy, keeping that whole thing intact. But yeah, gonna go ahead and end this one. How do people not know that we're being trolled with this stuff? That's one of those things that I wonder at this point. But anyway, let me know what you think in the comment section below. I'll post links in the description to these articles so you can go check them out for yourself. Verify that, yeah, they actually put these things out there. Probe Uranus in search of smelling gas, and then they realize that Uranus actually opens and closes every day. How do you not know when you're being trolled? Do you know when you're being trolled? Let me know. Anyway, as always, be good to each other. Take care of yourself. stay flat. I'll see you next time. Thank you.